Hi, I'm General Booty. I'm the quarterback at the University of Oklahoma, and you are now tuned into the greatest podcast on turf. Enjoy.
What is going on, you guys? Welcome back to this week's first episode of the greatest podcast on turf. I'm Anthony.
And I'm Ryan.
And we just recorded this entire episode, but we had a technical difficulty, so this is our second time going through. This is our week 1 fantasy football stardom sit-em video. Don't forget to like the video. Subscribe to the channel if you guys are new. We will be uploading our best bets tomorrow and our NFL game prediction Saturday. Be sure to check it out. Follow us on all platforms for daily content. And here we go. Start us off with your starting quarterback.
Glad you brought the energy, because goddamn.
I'm trying, man. We got to keep the morale up, make the best of it, you know?
All right. Basically, for my starting quarterback, I just picked a game. I decided Tua Tagovailoa and Justin Herbert are two stardoms this week. Justin Herbert, you drafted him early. You're starting him no matter what. No matter what I say, you're starting him. Tua is a guy that, you know, you're on the fringe. He's around that QB 10 range. If you didn't get a guy, if you got a Deshaun Watson or Dak or Daniel Jones that you're not sure of, Tua could be a guy that you lean to. I think that this Chargers-Miami Dolphins game, the over is at 51 right now, and I think it's going to go over. You got two teams with great receivers. You got two secondaries that can be questionable. I know that the Chargers secondary is great, but J.C. Jackson hasn't played football in a year. And the Miami Dolphins, Jalen Ramsey is also banged up. And like I said, it's Tyreek Hill, Jalen Waddle versus Keenan Allen and
Mike Williams.
So they're going to score a lot of points this game, and I think both these quarterbacks have a good day.
Yeah, my starting quarterback this week was Geno Smith of the Seattle Seahawks. Geno Smith is a guy that you probably didn't draft as your QB1, but if you have like a Dak Prescott, who you're not extremely confident in starting against the new-look Giants defense, or a Deshaun Watson, who's going up against a top Cincy defense, or one of those guys like that, Geno Smith is a very safe option. This is an offense that everybody's back from last season. They have Kenneth Walker, who's back fully healthy. They drafted Jackson Smith and Jigba as the receiver 3, who's probably receiver 1 or 2 on some other NFL teams. And the O-line's back and healthy. This offense is 100% healthy, and they should be firing on all cylinders. Against the Rams defense that literally just has Aaron Donald and John Johnson in seconds there maybe. Those are the only two guys on that defense that are anything really. I mean, yeah, props, they got guys, the NFL, whatever. The Rams are a very bad football team. They're playing without Cooper Kupp. This could turn into a very ugly football game for the Rams very quickly. So if you're not confident in one of your quarterbacks like a Dak or a Daniel Jones or a guy like that, pick up Geno Smith and start him this week. He's probably good for the points.
Jumping over to the sit-em quarterback side, I said Anthony Richardson against the Jaguars. This is a situation where I love Anthony Richardson for this season even. I have him as a backup quarterback, I think, in 2 out of my 4 leagues. And I think that down the stretch, he's going to be a very solid fantasy asset, similar to a Justin Fields type of situation. But right now, I kind of want to see it. I don't want to just throw myself into the fire against the Jaguars week 1. I'd rather wait until, week 5 where he's done it for a couple weeks and I can trust him. I'd rather have guys such as Tua or like the Geno Smith that he said, the Kirk Cousins of the world, just guys that have been consistent throughout their career.
Consistently mid
rather than potentially ass.
Yeah. My sit-em quarterback this week is a guy in Daniel Jones. Now, Daniel Jones, they're at home.
Say he's going to get shit on by Dallas, and we'll just move on.
They're at home versus the Dallas Cowboys. I know, the Dallas Cowboys, call it what you want. Division rivalry. The Giants don't match up good against Dallas on paper. 2, historically, Daniel Jones is not a Dallas Cowboy killer. He is actually a Dallas Cowboy
loser
victim.
Yeah.
3, Dallas added Mozzie Smith in the draft, one of the best interior defensive linemen. They're fully healthy. And they added Stephon Gilmore, who is arguably a top 5, definitely top 10 cornerback. Just not a good matchup for Daniel Jones. Again, I'd rather start a Geno Smith, Kirk Cousins, Tua. I would rather personally start Derek Carr this week over Daniel Jones. That's another sneaky start. Derek Carr. Tennessee was the worst against the pass last year, and they did nothing to help their secondary. There you have it. Sit Daniel Jones and start Derek Carr. So serious. I'm dead ass. I will die on that hill.
Jumping over to the running back side.
Again.
I'm hammering his
Turn
team.
that frown upside down and let's enjoy it. You know?
Yeah, well, what to say it was a practice round and we know our script. Raheem Mostert against the Chargers. I've been hammering this game. The over's 51. Raheem Mostert is a guy that, he's a lower price on your daily fantasy, lineups. There's no way he's up there with the higher echelon guys.
Nope.
This is a guy that you could start in your redraft leagues if you have Jonathan Taylor or Alvin Kamara that are banged up right now that you can't start, obviously. And if you went wide receiver heavy, Raheem Mostert could be a guy that comes in and puts up a pretty decent day. Going up against the Chargers defense that I think both teams are going to score a lot of points.
Yeah.
And Raheem Mostert, we've seen him have NFL success whenever he's healthy. Right now, he is healthy. I think you can trust Raheem Mostert. The only other guy there is Devon Achane. He's a rookie. He's not going to take touchdowns or anything away.
And again, not to mention the Chargers are historically bad against defending the run.
Chargers are just historically bad.
And Justin Herbert sucks. My stardom running back this week, the first one, J.K. Dobbins of the Baltimore Ravens. Simple as this. Texans really don't have much on the D-line. They were the worst team in run defense last year, and they didn't really do much to change it. The Ravens are 10-point favorites for a reason. I think they're going to want to come out here, get the run game going. They're going to want to take shots downfield, set up the play action. They have a new offensive coordinator. Lamar's paid. The offense is fully healthy except Mark Andrews. This is what it looks like right now when we're recording this Wednesday, September 6th at 9:51 p.m. He did practice today, so that's a good sign. But I think J.K. Dobbins is going to have a very successful day against this Texans' very, very bad run defense with not the best front seven they're bringing out there.
Next up, guy I was high on last year and high on him again this year, Rachaad White going up against Minnesota.
Yeah.
He's in line to own the backfield, and Minnesota's defense doesn't necessarily jump off the paper or really scare me at all. Rachaad White is a guy who he's the running back for Baker Mayfield who throws the ball to running backs a good amount of the time. He's a guy that is on a Buccaneers team that I know isn't the best, but I think that they can hang around against Minnesota because me personally, I don't believe in Minnesota. Never have, never will. And he, like I said, he has the backfield to himself. He's going to get the pass catches, and like I said, they're going to hang in there close. So Rachaad White should get a lot of touches, and I think he's definitely a solid flex play. I don't think there's anything wrong with that, and he could be a solid RB2 depending on the landscape of your team. I plan on having him on some daily fantasy lineups.
Question.
Sure.
Baker or Ant Rich this week? Start him.
Ant Rich.
You're crazy.
There's no way I'm trusting Baker Mayfield over. And no.
Yes. My second stardom running back this week, Aaron Jones. Yes, I know Aaron Jones isn't a bear killer, but again, as we're recording this Wednesday, September 6th at 9:53 p.m., Romeo Doubs and Christian Watson are on the injury report. They're both questionable. Now, I know they don't play till Sunday.
They have bad hammies, and hammies matter.
Wednesday is a long way away from Sunday, but again, hamstrings matter.
Shout out to hamstrings.
It's simple, especially in a wide receiver and fast wide receivers that are known for their speed. It's tough. Jordan Love's going to need somebody to count on the offense. Now, is it going to be a rookie tight end or a bunch of rookie wide receivers and late round unproven wide receivers? Or is it going to be the proven veteran, a borderline top 10 running back every year in Aaron Jones?
A great pass catcher.
Who is an elite pass catcher. And like I always say, young, unexperienced quarterbacks tend to lean on who?
Tight ends and pass catcher running backs.
My point exactly. Start Aaron Jones this week.
Jumping over to the sit 'em side. This one I'll kind of keep short and sweet because it's based on situations, and situations matter in redraft. Eagles and Bills running backs.
Yep.
Eagles, I don't know who's going to be their starting running back. I don't know who's going to get the most touches. I don't know who's going to get the most red zone work. I don't know anything about the Eagles' backfield to sit here and say on camera that you should start one of them.
Yep.
So with that being said, I wouldn't start any of them. And jumping over to the Bills side, I think it's a messy situation. Josh Allen is the type of guy to run in all the touchdowns. So,
That sounds like a meme. like Drake the type of guy to like.
Yeah. Well, Josh Allen is that type of guy, and James Cook is not that type of guy.
No,
he hasn't had the bulk of carries since high school, and that's going to continue here because Damian Harris is there to take over the red zone carries. James Cook will be involved inside the 20s, but this is a pass team that is not scared to use Josh Allen to run the football and absolutely will not put it on the shoulders of James Cook. So if you believe in James Cook, I respect it. Go ahead and start him.
Yeah.
However, the situation ain't good, and the Jets' defense is pretty damn good. So,
yes, I agree. The Bills' running back situation, it's like the Walmart version of the Lions. If Jared Goff could run the ball.
sure.
That's how you look. My first sit on running backs of the week, speaking of the Jets, it is Breece Hall and Dalvin Cook. Now, you probably don't have much capital invested into Dalvin Cook and or Breece Hall. I say don't start them. I know it's tough. They're big-name guys, but we don't know what we're going to see from the Jets. We could see this Jets team that comes out and throws the ball 30, 40 times and gets in a shootout with Buffalo, and they're kind of just using whoever at running back. Or we could see a world where Breece Hall still isn't 100% and Dalvin Cook gets all the carries.
And Michael Carter gets the third down work. Wouldn't that be gross?
Or there's a world where it's literally a 50-50 split with 50-50 split period. Or you got a Michael Carter getting the third down work. You really don't know. And again, the Bills team is notorious for being good against the run. They have a lot of capital invested into their defensive line. Yes, I know they took some L's at linebacker, but it makes up for it at the defensive line level. They have two very, very good rotation of guys who they can put it on the D-line consistently. I mean, just to give you some names, Greg Rousseau, A.J. Epineza, Ed Oliver, Jordan Phillips, Daquan Jones, with Leonard Floyd, Shaq Lawson, Von Miller. I mean, Von Miller is out. I understand. But, I mean, come on. Let's be real here. It's simple as this. I know I kind of rambled on there, but it's simple as you don't know what you're going to see from the Jets running backs. It's a tough matchup against Buffalo, and this game very well could turn into a shootout where running backs and the running game doesn't really matter as much. So that's why I say sit the Jets running backs, and you don't have a lot invested in them, so you can probably get away with it. As compared to if you drafted this guy, you might not be able to get away with starting him or with sitting him.
Najee Harris going up against the San Francisco
What a segue.
49ers. Well, we already done this once, so I hope we learned the segues. Najee Harris is a guy who is playing against the San Francisco 49ers defense.
Yep.
In which they're very, very good.
Yep.
One of the best D-lines in all of football.
Yep.
One of the best players on the D-line in all of football.
Yep.
They just got paid $180 million.
Michael
One of the best
Parsons next,
linebacking cores in all of football.
Yep.
And then you got Najee Harris, a guy who might lose his job to Jalen Warren. So,
Probably.
would I start him?
No.
I don't have him.
Yup. It's funny, my brother asked me this morning, he's like, am I crazy for sitting Najee this week? I was like,
You're crazy for drafting him.
yeah. So I said to
Wherever you drafted that guy, you probably did it too high.
yup.
But this week he's a sit against the 49ers. Next week he might be a sit. We'll see, where it is. But when you got a running back that has another running back behind him, it's not the best situation.
Yup. Similar to this situation, I'm sitting Javonte Williams this week. Now, again, I'm like Ryan. I'm fortunate enough to not have Javonte Williams in any fantasy leagues.
Yeah.
Now, I know. I understand. Sean Payton is kind of off his rocker, and he's just been talking reckless off season. And I feel as though that him saying Javonte Williams is going to be a huge part in this offense and that he is 100% healthy, I think that's a load of bullshit, if I'm being honest. I mean, he told Russell Wilson didn't he tell him shut the F up or something? Or
I hope so. Somebody needs to.
And it's just, historically speaking, Ryan, I have a question for you.
Yes.
When, if ever, has there ever been an NFL player,
Don't finish the question because there is one.
let alone running back, that's not the obvious one,
Okay.
come off of an entire knee reconstruction surgery as a running back, besides the obvious one, and go crazy and be back and 100% by week 1?
I don't know.
Exactly, that's my point. It's tough to start Javonte Williams this week. The Raiders, yes, I know that's who they're playing against. The Raiders are hit or miss against the run. But, again, historically speaking, Javonte Williams tore his whole knee up and pretty much had to get his whole entire knee reconstructed. There's no way he's back 100% healthy in less than a year. It just doesn't work like that. They bought in Samaje Perine for the reason. There is a world where Javonte sees the first 2 drives and Samaje Perine takes over for the rest of the game. That is a very, very foreseeable scenario that could happen. It's tough to start him. Don't start him this week. You didn't draft him high enough to the point where you have to. You can get away if you sit Javonte this week.
Even if he is 100% healthy, there's a world where he doesn't trust his leg or have the same strength in his leg.
Thank you.
So he needed to fully recover, fully get all the strength back in his leg, and fully trust his leg to make all cuts.
Now let's talk about some stardom wide receivers and or tight ends. So we'll call it the stardom pass catchers.
Jahan Dotson.
Nice.
Been high on him all offseason.
That's a new one.
Going to continue to be high on him all season, hopefully. Hopefully he keeps proving me right. This Cardinals defense, not much there. Not too worried about the pass rush that has David Collins. I guess they put him there.
He went from middle linebacker to a DN. Nice.
That's got to be it's actually a promotion nowadays.
I mean, they got to work with what they got.
They get paid more now.
Yeah.
The cornerback room
Kayvon Wallace
leaves a lot to be desired. And with that being said, there's no way Jahan Dotson don't absolutely eat this week. Washington is 7-point favorites. Terry McLaurin's been banged up, so it's been Jahan Dotson and Sam Howell building up a rapport of Joe Montana and Jerry Rice. So if that's what you want, start Jahan Dotson.
I just had an epiphany. Well,
it's literally 10 o'clock. You're just getting tired.
I'm going to keep this first one short and sweet. Start Christian Kirk. I would say Calvin Ridley, but you're already starting him because you drafted him in the 3rd or 4th round. The Jaguars play the Indianapolis Colts that have absolutely nothing at corner. I'll pull up the list of names. I know Kenny Moore is there, and he's like their 3rd or 4th corner, and Kenny Moore hasn't been good in about 2.5 years.
They don't even have Rocky Sin anymore.
Their cornerback room consists of Darrell Baker Jr., Dallas Flowers, Dallas spelled with an I, Kenny Moore II, who ain't been good in 3 years, rookie Julius Brents, Tony Brown, and Jalen Jones. Come on. You're telling me Trevor, in game 1 of his MVP campaign, isn't going to go stupid against that defense? Start Christian Kirk this week.
That's short and sweet. Nice. Next up, Mike Williams.
We're about 13 minutes ahead of where we were last time we recorded this, so we're doing good.
Yeah, we got it down. Mike Williams going up against the Dolphins. Why? Same reasons I said Tua and Herbert. They're going to pass the ball around the field. Mike Williams should be going up against Xavier Howard or Jalen Ramsey this week. He's not going up against one of them because, they're injured.
Thanks.
So, Mike Williams, I think, has a pretty good game against the Dolphins. I think this is a high-scoring game. I think they score 4 touchdowns, and I think Mike Williams gets one of them. I see Mike Williams having a pretty solid game. I would play him on your daily fantasy teams.
A sneaky daily fantasy pick this week. Can't say Chris Olave because that's kicking the dog.
I got a sneaky one too.
I think you may be able to get away with playing Michael Thomas this week. I know the guy has barely played football, but the Titans have nothing going for them in the secondary. They are going to throw the ball. They're playing without Alvin Kamara. They're not throwing the ball to Jamal Williams. They're throwing the ball to Chris Olave, Michael Thomas, and Juwan Johnson. Sneaky daily fantasy play. Before I say my next start.
Another sneaky one, Cortland Sutton. He's very cheap.
I wrote his name down and I crossed him out.
He might suck. It wouldn't surprise me, and I'm sorry if he does.
Sounds like Judy practiced today, so...
He ain't playing. The price of Cortland Sutton's very low, and the defense of the Raiders isn't very good. So
yeah.
And he lost 15 pounds.
God, the Broncos are so back, but I'm not buying into the hype. Drake London is my next starting receiver. Now, could argue, they got Bijan. They're going to run the ball 100 times. They got Kyle Pitts coming back. No and no. If there's two things the Panthers defense can be anything good for, it is defending the run pretty decently with the capital they have invested in their starters on the D-line, and it is guarding the tight ends. Someone's going to have to produce for this Falcons offense this week, and it'll probably be Drake London because, on paper, the Panthers secondary is good. They got J.C. Horn, C.J. Henderson, 2 first, top 10 picks, and Dante Jackson. But they're not very good. On paper they are, but their play is very inconsistent, so start Drake London this week.
Jumping over to the sit-em side, my first sit-em is 2 rookies, Jordan Addison and Quentin Johnson.
Nice.
Quentin Johnson absolutely do not start.
Nope.
He's listed as a receiver 4. I'm not sure how many snaps he's going to get. He's going to need to break one for him to be valuable in week 1.
And I just don't know if that's in the budget.
Might be. I might be an asshole, but he's the most catches this guy's getting is 4. And that's max. It's probably going to be 2. Next up, Jordan Addison. I love Jordan Addison this year. I think around week 4 or 5 he really blossoms. However, right now I need to see it in week 1. I can't be starting rookie receivers that I drafted in round 9 or 10 when I know I have other guys that I drafted ahead that I believe in, also that are veterans that I know is going to do good for me week 1.
And I'm going to try and keep this one short and sweet. This is a guy you shouldn't have drafted at all. They don't have a quarterback. Probably not going to have a quarterback. It's Hollywood Brown. He was getting drafted in the same range as the Tyler Lockett's of the world. He was going a little later than the Brandon Ayuk's of the world. He was going with the Chris Godwins, the Mike Evans, guys of that nature. You shouldn't have drafted Hollywood Brown to begin with. Him and Josh Dobbs ain't going out there and lighting things up. Don't start Hollywood Brown. If he has one good game, trade him while you can.
Final sit-em receiver for me. This guy that been kicking the dog on a lot.
Yeah, you've been doing this for about 2.5 years now.
This guy's like made me a living. Michael Pittman going up against the Jaguars. One, he has a rookie quarterback that we haven't seen throw the football that great in his career. He's going up against the Jaguars defense that's pretty solid. And, Anthony Richardson can steal all the red zone touchdowns. It wouldn't surprise me. It could be Josh Downs for all I know. It could be Deion Jackson because the games where he was RB1 last year, he was like a top 5 running back in fantasy football. Don't know why. It doesn't make any sense.
It was in the budget.
It was in the budget. I would sit Michael Pittman until I see it kind of in a more consistent basis, or if he looks a lot better than he has.
Now, this is a guy who you are probably not able to sit in a regular fantasy league, but this is a guy who you should not play in daily fantasy. It's Dallas Goedert of the Philadelphia Eagles. If there's one thing that you can count on the Patriots defense to do, it is to hold tight ends to minimal usage. That's what they're going to do. They somehow always make it work. Their Patriots are always good at guarding tight ends. So there you go. Don't start Dallas Goedert in a daily fantasy. And hopefully this is going to be the last time we record this. Until next week, thank you guys for watching. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel so you don't miss some free money bets tomorrow and our game predictions for Friday. Thank you guys for watching, and we'll see you guys next time.
See ya.
Peace.